And we're back to the Constitution line by line. And we have been plowing through Article 1. And now we're all the way to Section 10.
Okay, I got to ask a question.
Yes.
Our costumes have changed over time.
Yeah.
So we didn't do this in just one day.
There's absolutely no way to do this in one day. My gosh, they'd have our corpse up here with somebody working our jaw after a while, because it would kill us.
Yeah.
Now,
and you think about the Constitution for a second. I just have to say this. The Constitution is a short document. It's, in the National Archives, it's 4 pages.
But it is pregnant with implication.
It certainly is. And you compare it to the Texas Constitution, which is like 250 pages. So
no elastic clauses.
No elastic clauses. So is that going to be our next assignment when we're finished with this, is go through the Texas Constitution?
I'm not even touching that.
No
way we're doing that.
No, this is good, though.
Yeah, but this is important.
Yes.
And I think this is a vital component of being a virtuous citizen.
Ooh, very good.
Of the United States.
Yeah. So
here's the last part of Article 1, the last clause of the last part of Article 1.
And did we tell you there's 7 articles in the Constitution?
The rest of them are pretty short.
And then the amendments.
Then the amendments.
27.
We got more to do. So strap it on, because here we go. All right, this is Clause 3 of Section 10, Article 1. And this has to do with entering into compacts and agreements and why the states can't do it. All right. So it reads, no state shall, without the consent of Congress, lay any duty of tonnage, keep troops or ships of war in time of peace, enter into any agreement or impact with another state or with a foreign power, or engage in war, unless actually invaded or in such imminent danger as will not admit of delay.
So if Mexico attacks Texas,
we can by golly go to war.
The governor
with
can
Texas
call
troops.
Governor calls up the Texas troops, and we can go fight until the U.S. military has a chance to get involved.
Can come bail us out. That's right, because all we have really that's under direct state control is the Texas State Guard.
Right.
And they're really good at showing you where to park at big community events. But I have no confidence that if they had to fight a battalion of Mexican Marines that they would do very well.
Thank God for Fort Hood, Fort Bliss,
yeah,
Dyess Air Force Base.
A very militarized state
yes,
down here on the southern border. But essentially, this is about you can't freelance once again, so the states can't do it.
Well, let me just stop you there for a second.
Yes.
The thing that stands out about this section of the Constitution is that each of the 3 clauses you read start the same way. No state shall.
Yes.
Okay, so we're denying powers to the state.
But one of the things that we read right past is lay any duty of tonnage.
Okay.
So, this has to do with deep water ports, shallow water ports, how big a boat you can come in, get out. Seems to be a little out of place to me, this duty of tonnage. But
they had to put it in. As you said, a dump truck was the last clause. This is another dump truck.
Yeah.
So,
but it has a lot to do with armies and ships of war in time of peace. But then all of a sudden we get this other sort of chunk, which is impacts or agreements or, some sort of connection with other states or with foreign powers.
Right.
Which you can't do either as a state.
Yeah. Now, you got to be careful about what we're talking about here. Do states have agreements with other states? Yes, all the time. Water rights, for example.
Extradition agreements.
The Port Authority of New York and New Jersey.
Sure.
They were in the news because of 9/11. So, yes, you can reach those kind of agreements. Congress allows those kind of agreements.
Yeah, without consent of Congress.
Yeah.
Now, Congress gets to bless it.
Right. Now, can Congress come along? I'm not Congress, but let's just use Texas. Can Texas come to an agreement with Mexico?
Can Texas come into an agreement with Coahuila, Nuevo Leon, Tamaulipas, and Chihuahua? a portion of Mexico, not
Right.
even all of Mexico.
Right. You're talking about specific cities, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And the answer is yes, but it depends on what kind of agreement.
Ish.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
yes-ish.
So do you establish cultural ties? Yeah, of course you do. Do you establish...
An international, let's say, Chamber of Commerce.
Yes, those are all totally cool. Okay.
But Congress reserves the right to inspect it to make sure it's totally
Yeah.
cool.
Can you have a specific agreement regarding trade? Like you in Mexico, you will favor only goods coming from the state of Texas. No, you can't.
But then you can have something like the North America Free Trade Agreement,
Right.
which greatly benefits Texas because of its geographical location,
Right.
but it's not specifically with Texas.
Right. And that, of course, was negotiated by the president and
Correct.
has to be approved by Congress.
Correct. So Congress is still going to have the blessing on a bunch of this stuff.
Right. So has any state ever gone to war with another country? Or attempted to?
All by itself.
This is a quiz.
I'm thinking
Think.
there's somewhere up in Maine there was a border issue.
Yeah, there was border issues.
I don't know.
What did our great governor in Texas before I got here? What did he do during the Reagan administration? Do you recall this?
No, I'm it's going right past me.
Congress refused to give President Reagan authorization to go and fight the Contras in Central America.
Yes.
So the governor of Texas called up the Texas National Guard. Yeah.
Really?
Governor Mark White.
Good Democrat.
This is my understanding. It wasn't living here at the
Yeah.
time. And sent some troops down to a military base in Central America.
Really?
And then he was reminded that states can't declare war. And he says, well, we need to stop the spread of communism from getting into Texas.
So we're going to cut it off at its
So
source.
we're going to cut it off at its source. But, of course, he didn't have the constitutional power to do so. So,
Yeah, who's paying for that?
We did. Well, you did. I wasn't a citizen of Texas at the time.
Huh. I really don't know about that episode.
So I've heard that, and I'll be happy to look it up, and we can talk about it at a future date.
Yeah. We'll see if that comes
Okay.
up.
But, I mean, that's such a bizarre thing. Who does that now? You know? It's not something that states do. So we know what states can do. We know what states can't do.
Well, I think that this might actually probably come more into play on the high seas. But I can't even point to that.
Yeah, because do states have their own Coast Guard?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. I mean, there's a U.S. Coast Guard that you need.
Well, and Texas Department of Public Safety has its own Navy now.
Mm-hmm. But, again, how far offshore do they go?
Well, they go up and down the Rio Grande, into the mouth of the Rio Grande.
Oh, that's true. They're right there on the border. Then
Yeah.
with Mexico.
So that's almost like keeping a Navy,
Yeah, it
except in
is.
time of war.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a way they get around these words there to make sure what they do is constitutional.
Yeah, but that's an interesting,
Yeah.
that's a head scratcher.
Yeah. I don't know what their limitations are.
Isn't that amazing? So we're ending Article 1 with what are the limits of this thing, especially,
Yeah.
Given our current world.
Yeah.
So no state shall, but some states kind of do. But I guess it's
But
not
they don't.
war.
Yeah, it's not.
I think that may be the definer.
Yeah.
But there's also that clause, unless national emergency and the need for speed says you got to do it.
We're going to be fast and furious here.
Well,
aren't we?
maybe that's how come there's been some beefing up of Texas law enforcement capabilities.
Yeah, you notice that the governor of Texas and the Texas legislature in the last couple of years has really beefed up what we're doing on the border with Mexico. And traditionally, border defense has been a national issue. Immigration is a national issue.
Oh, absolutely.
The governor of Texas has taken it on as a state issue.
Well, it was a state issue in the 1850s in Texas.
Okay.
I mean, they said that, you're not protecting us from Mexico or the Indians.
So we're going to do it ourselves.
We're going to do it ourselves, and that's really how come the Texas Rangers become such a big deal.
So, in essence, the past is prologue.
Well, and certainly when it comes to the state of Texas, because a bunch of the same issues are still there. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So that's our line.
Right. So what we've done, as we finish the first article, we're at this point. We have established what the job of the federal government is.
Or what Congress is.
Yeah. With the establishment of Congress, we've established what the federal government's supposed to do.
Correct.
And so we're now going to go on and talk about other branches, and then there's going to be a grab bag of stuff at the end of the Constitution. But we now have a good idea of what the government is responsible for. And I don't know, as we discuss it, what's going to come up in our evil minds as we go through. But to the framers of the Constitution, this was the thing they wanted to establish. It was first. It's the longest. It's the most important part of the Constitution.
And if they didn't think of it the first time, they have every right to do what is necessary and proper to think of it after the fact.
Right. The
Ex post facto.
Clause. The elastic clause.
Yes.
So anyway, here we are. It's a good place to stop, take a quick break, and then we're going to go to Article 2, the executive branch.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the presidency as we start rolling forward.
The
all right.
Imperial presidency.
Appreciate you guys sticking with us all the way through Article 1. There's lots more fun to come. Thanks.